You guys are probably you're waiting for somebody to knock on, and the world is waiting to witness what will happen to Infowars.
That's right.
I want to
Yes,
cover that.
in about 2 hours, when my father, Alex Jones, goes live on InfoWars, the Alex Jones Network, and syndicated to hundreds of different radio stations around the country, we're going to know the truth about whether or not we're getting shut down today or tomorrow or next week. But it will be, sadly, probably within the month. I've heard people at the office very optimistic about it, saying, hey, we may be here till Thanksgiving. We don't know what's going to go on. But look, they did this to us once before. In November of 2024, they came in with an order to shut down the place. They cut
Mm.
our internet. They posted their graphics on our website, kind of like a trophy taking type of thing. It was very sick. I mean,
Yeah.
Harrison was literally live streaming in the morning and the feed just went black. That's what they did. Now, they did that illegally. They weren't allowed to do it. So the judge issued an order of stay on the case, which is now removed. So unfortunately, the state court receiver will be back in the office today, and he will be really there to dictate whether we're going to be open another day, another week, another month. And I'm on the side of hoping for at least another couple of good weeks at InfoWars. But the way things are going, we're going to receive our deadline today. It's kind of like
So
InfoWars. I compare it a lot since the bankruptcy, since the court stuff, since the lawfare against us. It's like a person on life support. It's a person in a coma. It can't
mm,
live without, outside intervention. And they've
mm.
got their hands on the purse strings. We can't send reporters out. We can't do the typical shows and broadcasts abroad like we're used to doing. We can't do that on the ground coverage, and everything's basically restricted to the studio. So once we're free and once this whole thing eventually, sadly, probably kind of dies and goes away, you're really going to see Alex have a resurgence with the Alex Jones Network. And I think that's what we're gearing up to do. But it all hinges on today. And we'll know here in a couple hours live what happens and what the fate of InfoWars is.
Yeah. So to the people who are sitting at home who's watching the Infowars, Alex Jones and all the
Mhm.
people were sitting there and be like, you are just trying to raise money,
Right.
dude. Stop talking. Nobody's gonna show you. Nobody's gonna turn up. And Alex Jones was more of like as compared to a boy who cried roof, and he's
Yes.
because he
Yes.
kept on calling. He's like, next week it might happen. Next week it might happen. Next week, next Wednesday, next this. So so are we getting to see like? So basically, this is like there's no going back. Are you
There
telling me
is no
that
going back.
Infowar is done?
That's where we're at. So I mean, they've spent 130 million suing him. He spent around 18, 20 defending himself. That's where the money has been going to, right? It's been going to fight these legal battles, fight these court battles, and ultimately the span of time, everyone says, "Oh, it's a boy who cried wolf." When is this ever going to happen? Just fundraising off of it. It's not true. The only reason why the doors have still been open is because of the support of the listeners, and it's really heroic on people's part and on Alex's part to stay on and do the show, even under the constraints that he's under. I mean, it has not been fun for him to have to deal with a company, deal with a show that used to be his. He used to be sole proprietor, owner, owned 100% of everything, made all the decisions. Now that it's in bankruptcy, when you're in bankruptcy, they appoint someone to hold the purse strings and to decide what money gets spent on what. So they've got like old 10-year-old equipment that they were going to replace that they haven't been able to replace for like 3, 4 years. They've got, people that have left the operation because of uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen or not. So we're dealing with a reduced crew, and we're dealing with really reduced quality of equipment and funds that are available to actually run the operation because everything ultimately goes into the court bills. Now, what happened was when this initially hit bankruptcy, they did an auction, right? That's what the judge wanted. He said, "Hey, I want an open auction, the highest bidder, whoever pays the most money, because ultimately it's about getting the families the most amount of judgment that they deserve, right? It's about getting them the most bang for their buck financially out of what's been done to us, right? So they try to sell the thing. We have people come in that are friendly to us that bid over $8 million. They don't give it to them. The bankruptcy trustee, not the judge, he holds a closed auction. That 8 point whatever it was $1 million bid goes through, and then the other people, the people that own the onion, that want to kind of wear our skin and use it as a propaganda and like a parody tool to make fun of us forever and to pollute Alex's digital image into the future, into infinity, they bid around $1 million, but they promised the future earnings of the company up to 10 million as part of their bid. Now that's illegal and it's wrong because the valuation of the company is based off of Alex working there. He's the revenue generator. So you can't do that. It actually violates the 13th Amendment against slavery. So we've got Supreme Court cases pending. We've got a hearing coming up. We've got multiple countersuits against these people. But ultimately, the trustee, he approved the fraudulent deal with the fake money. And the judge saw that and said, hey, you can't do that. And he suspended the sale. So we've been living in the era of the suspended sale for really almost a year now. But the judge, kind of like Pontius Pilate, has washed his hands of it, and it's gone back to the state court. And the way it works here in the States, the way it works here in America, is you kind of have radically different courts and radically different, political affiliations based on the county that you live in, right? And in America, the big cities, areas like Austin, Travis County, they're incredibly liberal and left-wing. So we've got a very left-wing local judge who really has made it her mission to shut us down, and it's back in her court now. So the person that is being sent today will be sent kind of at the behest or affiliation or association with her, and we're screwed, basically. That's what's going on today.
So there's no coming back, basically. For the people who are thinking, yeah, this is just Alex Jones trying to sell supplements. It's trying to make people buy, trying to increase their urgency. But no, this is actually him crying for help to stay
Wolf
on
is here. The
operation.
wolf has always been there. He's been able to beat off the wolf because of the strength that he's been given by the listeners. And I made this point on a live stream I did recently. Other shows, they do the show so they can sell you the product. We sell you the product so we can do the show. So it's a very different relationship. So when you see Alex promoting himself and self-funding himself, and everyone sees him selling the supplements, we've been doing this since 2012, 2013 with the supplement sales, because Alex was a guy that sold T-shirts and sold books and sold documentaries literally for like 2-3 decades. But in 2011, 2012, he really wanted to build a media empire, and he realized, hey, the only way to do this self-funded without backers that you're beholden to, without big donors, is to build a product that's cheap, affordable, and super effective that everyone will just rebuy month after month. So that's why we went in the supplement direction. I mean, I'm super passionate about supplements.
Yeah, I want to talk about that as well. Of course, this is affecting a lot of people. It's affecting the reporters, the producers, the people who are working at INFOWAR. They're all feeling something. Even the people who left because they wanted to find something where they can feel secure and hang on and not feel like they're going to lose their job. I'm sure they are still stressing the fact that they had to leave and the fact that this might be shut down. Now, you started reporting or making videos off with audio or maybe sometimes on air, when you're really young.
Yes. So I used to actually appear first on audio because I would do talk back in the studio with Alex when I was around 8-9 years old. I would like school him on the Bible and stuff. I was a very well-read little kid. I still am somewhat well-read today. But going into the future, around 10-11 years old, I started doing videos with the Guy Fawkes mask on because my dad didn't want my face to be out there just yet. When I'm like 12, 13, 14, that's when I make my first on-air appearance, and it was really off to the races. And what really sucks is my entire body of work, everything I really did at INFOWAR, it was on our old YouTube channel, which, as you know, was deleted and deplatformed in 2018. So I had videos with over 500,000 views. I had dozens and dozens of videos, films, reports, on the street interviews, you name it. And those were all kind of deleted. So the cool thing now is the way I see it, the kind of silver lining is I get to start from scratch, and I get to kind of re-release a couple of those old videos that I have and put them out nowadays in the modern time.
Seeing the building, because you started doing this since you were young.
Right.
I'm sure seeing not just the video, because I'm sure the video you can always recreate, but the building if somebody deletes my video,
legendary. Let me do a little breakdown on that. Sorry to interrupt you. Let me do a little breakdown on that. So when we started off, INFOWAR had around 4,000 square feet, and that's where the old Alex Jones studio is. Those classic videos of him in the old radio broadcast studio, that was a little portion of this building. Then around 2013, 2014, we got the other half of that building, that 8,000 square feet, and we turned it into warehousing. Then a couple years in the future, Alex is getting money coming in from the supplements. He's able to build the media empire. We turn that whole area into reporting studios. That's where we built the Trump era studio. And we get the other side of the building as well, another 8,000 square feet, and we use that as warehousing space. So then after that, Alex builds the giant studio he's currently in, which is referred to as Studio Joe, a great man, Joe Jennings, who unfortunately died in a motorcycle accident in the late 20-teens. he designed that kind of Japanese game show studio that Alex works in now, and that was so huge for us. And just seeing that process and seeing that thing get built was so incredible. Eventually, we used even the other 8,000 square feet to hold reporters and administrative staff and supplement staff. And we moved out our warehousing to another building that we still own locally in Austin. And at its peak, you're talking about probably like 1,400 to 16, or not 1,400, talking about 14,000 to 16,000 square feet of total space, warehousing, and production that we all had. So
Heavy.
I've spent more time in the InfoWars office than any home that I've ever lived in. And I have a very deep, very almost like, I would say, actually spiritual attachment to that place. And it's been very sad to see a place that used to have 78 employees, used to have people running around screaming with papers all the time. It was so crowded. It was so fun. Now be reduced to kind of like a ghost ship or like a Flying Dutchman type of thing, where we have maybe a third or a fourth of the original crew that we had. And the people that are there are just purely there for love of the game, just trying to keep this thing alive. It's very sad for me to see it go away. But at the same time, it's something that I feel needs to happen so that we can rise again like a phoenix and do even better.
Yeah. So you believe the AJ Live, the Alex Jones Live network.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Alex Jones Network. You believe that will be bigger than InfoWars?
Oh, yeah, I really do. It depends on how we play it. It depends on how much love is put into it. But I know Alex, and he's all about love. And this is the thing he cares the most about. He's planning on going live for around 18 hours a day, not just him.
I was thinking that is like a promotion. Like, I want to go live for 18 hours a day. I want to do this. I want to have reporters around the country. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe this guy is just promoting. Maybe it's just like an advert. But is he actually serious? Wants to go live for 18 hours a day?
Serious. He's 110% serious. I mean, that's what it was all about. And what it really is just reconstituting what we had in like 2015 to 2018. We were already doing all that stuff. We were doing it great, perfectly, awesome budget, everything. You're talking about, it's so sad, right? Because other people, they have big company, big industry. They get a lot of funding from other people, and they never really have to worry about anything because they're not worried about getting sued. They don't have a real independent message that goes out. We were doing all of this, and they took it from us. They took it from us by suing us. They took it from us by deplatforming us first. They did everything possible to make us not successful, and we've still been so successful. And it's all thanks to the listeners because they recognize this really is the biggest independent media operation in the world.
Yeah, and they've done everything to keep it going, which is freaking sick.
Yes.
I have to say to you guys, because if somebody was to be pulled off, I mean, Facebook, which is like one of the largest platforms in the world, YouTube, which is again one of the largest platforms in the world.
Yeah, 2.2 billion YouTube
X,
views.
And all these platforms that are like the biggest platform till today. I mean, X, people think X is that big, but X has like, there's not even billions, it's not even 500,000 of people in X. But comparing it to YouTube, it's like a baby.
Right.
And that's the only platform you guys have been able to flourish a little bit.
X and Rumble. Rumble. And it's small, comparatively to the big platforms, but it's big enough. And more people are adopting it because they want free and uncensored information. That's why they come to those platforms, right? I mean, you're talking about a time span of under 2 weeks where we were banned from everything. So what did we do? We built our own streaming platform, Band.video, in under 14 days. So there was zero interruption. There was no interruption at all. We were still on radio. We were still on Band.video. That's how fast you're able to react to things when you're doing it all yourself and you got a team of really skilled, talented individuals working with you. I mean, that's what it's all about. We have survived kind of like the cockroach in the nuclear bomb explosion. We've been there through it all. So getting an opportunity to actually exist on somewhat of a level playing field where we're at least able to hit some of that mainstream audience. I mean, I look at the Alex Jones feed on YouTube all the time, the InfoWars feed. You're talking at night, you got like 500,000 viewers over that every single night. Combined on platforms. So it's beautiful for me to see the people are there. The people want the information. We're just not given an opportunity to compete. And, that's what the free market, that's what capitalism is ultimately supposed to be about. But we live in this crony capitalist world where these lawyers, these bureaucrats, they run everything. And if they don't control you, they can't get money out of you, they shut you down. But we don't play that.
And the reason why I brought that up is because I want to give you guys credit for it, because I know we can pick any influencers right now. We can go through the MAGA team and we go who. and we can just pick and be like, all right, let him go through what Alex Jones has gone through. I don't think these guys will survive a 6 months.
No, no, in 6 weeks, they would get discouraged, they would panic, they would quit. Ultimately, they would fail because even if it's them, even if it's a few people, they don't have the team that we have. They don't have the decades of experience that we have. They don't have the hundreds of thousands of hours of experience that all of our crew members have. I mean, like me at home building the home studio, I'm not really a tech guy. I'm not that good at it. I had the best AV people in the world to work with me from day one, purely from love of the game because they understand the mission, they understand what it's about.
Hmm. And that's the thing. So why do you think the MAGA team? I mean, they're all supporting Trump. They're all supporting Trump. I mean, what's happening to you? What's happening to Infowars right now could possibly happen to them too. How come they're not pulling their socks and be like, hey guys, let's actually spare an episode and just talk about what Alex Jones is going through. The injustice. They want to make him a slave and they want to do all this. Why is that happening? Because that could possibly happen to myself too. How come that is not happening in America? A lot of influencers are not coming together and raise the voice for Alex Jones.
Well, I mean, you raise an excellent point here, and let's go back in history a little bit. So famously, when we were banned off Twitter, now X, was the last platform that removed us, and they removed us a little while longer after everyone else did. They waited a little while. They were kind of making a decision there. Trump famously said after we were banned, didn't directly address us, but it was one of the biggest stories in the country, and it was trending on Twitter when he made the tweet, so I have to think it was addressed towards us. As long as I'm still on Twitter, it's okay. That's what he said. And of course, he was banned shortly afterwards, right? So this has all kind of happened before. And you'd think that the urgency would be there. You think the help and support would be there, considering everything that Alex did, especially during the first administration, to get Trump elected, to help him beat Hillary, which we really did, folks. Like that's just the damn truth. We got millions of people to vote for Donald Trump in the first election. If you look at what happened, you look at the environment now, post-COVID, the censorship atmosphere was so extreme during COVID and the pandemic and during that entire time period that there was kind of a natural reaction against it, which is why you saw Elon buy X, which is why you saw Rumble kind of really grow. And we kind of just came in organically off of that, and we used that new free environment to kind of get back out there. Yeah. But at the same time, nothing has really been done ever to officially help us. And this case is really black and white, guys. They screwed us. They had a fake valuation for my father. They said my dad was worth $270 million. He's never had more than like $8 to $10 million personally, like combined assets and everything. And that's everything he sold off. He's only able to own the house that he lives in now and a car. He'll never be able to own anything again. He's got a $2.2 billion non-dischargeable debt over his head that he can never get rid of. And we were getting some signaling. My dad talked to Ed Martin, the associate deputy attorney general guy, but he's underneath some people. And it looks like the deputy AG, I'm blanking on his name now. It looks like he put the kibosh on everything and kind of shut down that investigation, that operation. And you'd think that we would get some help from these people, guys. Like you'd think that after everything we've done and really what we stand for, being free speech and independent media, that we would get some support from the current administration. But it's very sad. You see these establishment GOP types, these really AIPAC affiliated people. They get all the support in the world for us.
Because you see people like oh God, you see people like Laura Loomer and stuff getting the pictures, getting the emails, and you see people be invited, receiving binders. Ooh, I got the binders. Oh, I got the binders. Jeffrey Epstein, whatever.
Yeah, the big scandal.
All these guys, even some of them having a phone call directly to the president. I mean, and in 2000, I don't know what year that was, either 2017 or 2018, something like that, where Trump called in to INFOWAR.
It was 2016. It was during the election.
Oh, 2016. He called in. He knew you guys would be the front line of getting him inside. But today, somehow, you guys are not the front line of receiving information and receiving favors. What's going on? Am I missing something?
I mean, we saw Trump say to Alex, you have a fantastic reputation and I will not let you down. I mean, look at how much he let him down, right? And you talk about this, you talk about the DC Drano, the Emily Austin, all these types, the libs of TikTok that got the binders for the Epstein thing and were just kind of a part of that big scandal. All these people, Benny Johnson, who used to be a plagiarist who worked for BuzzFeed, that was his claim to fame. Benny Johnson got all the backing, all the support. He got to fly on a plane with Trump and talk to him. I mean, what have any of these people ever done for Donald Trump besides be like social media avatars for whatever he wants to push? I mean, I think it comes down to us being independent at the end of the day and not really a part of the power structure. And people point at Alex and say, oh, he loves Trump too much. He supports Trump too much, all this stuff. Well, I mean, if you were him and you were in this situation where you had been legally screwed over and they had done lawfare against you, you would be begging and hoping and praying the administration, all Trump would, it would be one phone call. And you would just have to talk to his attorney general and just go, hey, like, have you looked at this? Like, why is this investigation being stifled? Why isn't this being talked about? Some public support, maybe. That's maybe all it would take. But
Yeah.
we don't get that, and it's very sad to see.
You see, I think Trump is on his phone all the time. I think he's always tweeting. I think he's always writing something. He writes about, Greta Thunberg doing the butt flick, and he's like, oh, let me write. How come he's not found the time to, like, oh no, a show that I happened to call in when I was running, it's getting shut down. I mean, man, this is worth a Truth Social post. How come? I know Alex Jones is being so friendly with Trump, where he's keeping and he's supporting, and sometimes he criticizes, but then he gets back into line and he doesn't do too much. But you can tell there's a lot of anger there from your dad, and he's holding back because he knows himself is being stabbed in the back. I'm sure he knows that now. Because there's so much more Trump could do to, like, fix this. This would not even go on for this long if Trump was interested to fix it as much as it is interested to
even
fix
just raising awareness, man. Even just raising awareness for us would be huge. And we don't get any of that. We get some signaling, from people like Ed Martin in the administration that might be interested. But you have to understand, my issue with Trump and what I've seen is in the first administration, everyone said, oh, he appointed the wrong people. They kind of led him astray. He wasn't aware of the political machinery and the factions involved, and he kind of got played a little bit. That was the excuse the first term. That made a lot of sense to me. I adopted that. That's why I voted for Trump in 2024, was because I said, hey, maybe there's a hope now that he will actually be able to address these problems and that he's aware of them. Sadly, it just looks like they're trying to build that uniparty coalition, working with people like Lindsey Graham and Senator Blumenthal, who's the guy that's actually running the lawsuits against us, by the way. I mean, the Democratic Party, even more than the Republicans, they're a party of lawyers. That's all they are. They go to school, they get the Ivy League law degree, and they sue people. They don't create anything on their own. They're incapable of it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to get people to organically support them. So their bread and butter is, like a personal injury attorney. They're ambulance chasers at the end of the day. They're looking for something to just bleed money out of something that's already successful. They can take over and control at the end of the day. And that's what was done to us. And, the same thing's been done to Trump. Trump has been sued. Trump has faced criminal charges that were all bogus and BS, right? The Russia stuff. I mean, that's one of my main reasons for supporting Trump, is that Russia stuff is a lie. It's a damn lie. It all came out. Hillary Clinton paid for the Fusion GPS dossier, but they ran this for years. My entire teenage life was watching coverage of this Russia hoax story. And you'd think that someone that was the victim of something like that would understand how serious this lawfare is and how important it is to squash it. Why don't you support the best example against it, which is us? It really is. Black and white, we're the best example against it. And people look at the story, they say, Sandy Hook, horrible, monstrous, the kids got killed and the parents, it's the worst thing you could ever imagine, right? But when you have something like that, that's the worst thing you could ever imagine. All you have to do when you're the lawyers is approach the parents and go, hey, we got a really good story here. We got a really good deal. We can go sue all these people forever. So before they sued us, they sued Remington. They sued the gun manufacturer that made the gun that the guy used to go to the school, right? Wow. And last time I checked, if you get run over by a Camry, you can't sue Toyota. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how that works, right? Yeah, but exactly. They sued Remington into bankruptcy. And when they got the $71 million from Remington, they turned their eye on us and they tried to do the same thing to us. Now, why does one of the biggest gun manufacturers in the world, and apparently the manufacturer responsible for the gun that was used in the horrific incident, why does the gun manufacturer pay $71 million? Why do we have to pay $2.2 billion? Does that make sense to you? And in America, we have Bill of Rights, Article 8, there shall be no excessive fines imposed. Like, it's black and white. It's in the law. Like there were excessive fines put on us purely from a punitive standpoint that aren't right. And you look at InfoWars, numerous offers were made to be like, hey, Alex will still work. He needs all the creative control. Y'all can't dictate anything, but we'll pay y'all out over 10 years. Just let us keep InfoWars. It would be like, Baraka, if you had a big mansion, right? And you got in your car and you were intoxicated and you like hit me on the street and I sued you and I got the value of your mansion for my lawsuit against you. But instead of making you sell the mansion and taking the money from it, or instead of, taking the money in some traditional way, it would be like if I took possession of the mansion and then spray painted on it, had people like defecate on it and like tore it down and destroyed the value of the place. They destroyed the value of the place, and they say they want restitution. They say they want a redress of grievances. They say they want to get paid. It's not about that. It's about chopping.
Go on. What's the message?
To be independent media. You don't get to ask questions, because if you do, the Democrat Party law firms will find a way to sue you, will find a way to take you down. And at the end of the day, we will take over your online image and we will pollute it with our own fake graven image of what you are, which is what they want to do with the Onion.
Yeah. Talk
to him up and have him talk about Bigfoot and have him call himself stupid. I mean, it's outrageous.
Hold on, because I've heard this conspiracy. I've heard this from a lot of people saying, hey, they're going to take Alex Jones' InfoWars and they're going to, obviously Alex Jones will go, because of course he's not going to be there and work as a slave for these guys. He's going to go on Alex Jones' network and they're going to use InfoWar. They're going to create some AI Alex Jones and make him say stuff to basically ruin his name, and people won't be able to tell which Alex Jones it is. Do you think that's what would happen if they take over?
Yes, 100%. And it's unclear as to what's going to happen now, because keep in mind that that auction was suspended. So I don't believe they actually have a legal right to it. But I mean, you never know with these people, and it's in state court, like we're a gamble judge. I mean, the trial they had for my dad, it was produced by HBO. They had HBO cameras in there. They were doing the judge's makeup. So you never know what this judge is going to decide to do. I mean, she's a real piece of work. She's a real piece of crap. I don't want to swear on here because I don't want to get you banned or demonetized on YouTube. But this is America. We can say whatever we want about people. She is a disgusting pig creature from the depths of hell. And that's my opinion, but it's true.
You'll get arrested here, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to get me arrested, boss.
But we're across the pond. It's a little different over here. We had a war a long time ago to decide these things. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I can say whatever I want. And it's so disgusting. And again, I go back to the point I make earlier. These people, they don't build anything. They don't make anything. They don't create anything. They don't make people happy. All they do is tear people down for financial gain. That's what it's all about. And InfoWars, people pointed at us and laughed and go, oh, they sell the pills, they sell the supplements. I mean, have we ever hurt anyone doing that? No. Have we destroyed anyone's livelihood doing that? No. We give people benefit. It's stuff that you would take anyway, like high quality stuff at like a Whole Foods grocery store in the supplement aisle. That's all that we sell anyway, right? And I can get into that later. But the main thing is they come after you when they see that you're self-funded, when you're self-supported, when you're an independent operation, and they're just going to take you down. So if they do get access to the company, if they do get the InfoWars name and all of that, and I do believe they will, because the InfoWars domain name is worth, hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million on its own. They will probably get control of that asset. They won't get control of the studios like they would have in the past, because all that stuff has to be sold off. But they're going to get something out of this, and they're going to pollute his image. And, in the age of AI and all of this, all these large language models, all they do is they scrape and they put together kind of a digital identity and a gestalt of everything you've ever done. So if they're able to take new InfoWars and put out 30 years of bad content as opposed to Alex's 30 years of good content, they'll be able to merge the two. And in the Internet of Things, that's who he will be. Yeah, and that's against human rights, in my opinion.
As we all know, like all these human rights stuff, laws, and they don't really work.
No,
I mean, we got to learn that.
It's not with good intention. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. These are deliberately malignant and malevolent things that they're doing to suppress people. And ultimately, it's going to be a very curated view, like a Netflix front screen or like an Amazon Prime front screen, where you've got the shows that you're allowed to watch, the shows that are supported by the big backers, the big donors, the big funders. And That's why supporting independent media like yourselves and like InfoWars. I mean, I was so happy seeing your intro, seeing, some of that imagery there. It made me very proud. You've clearly learned a lot from the operation and factored it into yourself. And that's what we've always told people to do. All our stuff is free to air. It's free to rebroadcast. It's free to clip. You do whatever you want. That's always been the message at InfoWars. And all these other places like, oh no, how do we monetize everything? How do we copyright strike? How do we take people's stuff down because they're posting our videos? Good. Post our videos. Please share it. Like, that's what we're about. And there's honesty in that these people lack, and they don't understand it. Like, when they came in, when the bankruptcy's going on, lawsuits going on, they spent years in discovery trying to find the hidden money. Like, where is all the money? This company made hundreds of millions of dollars. Where is all the money? As they're standing in our massive studio with all the employees and everything, there's the money. That's where the money went. The money went to build the operation. We didn't hide it away or squirrel it away like you people would have. We spent it on building something, which is what you're supposed to do. Money is energy at the end of the day. And we required that energy to grow.
Yeah. I don't think you grow something that big without love. First of all, you gotta love it, because I'm sure the reason why Alex Jones has been standing right now and still broadcasting, which he'll probably will in the next hour, broadcasting live, is because he loves it.
Yes, very true. It's got nothing to do with personal enrichment.
He's not doing it for the money. He's not doing it because he has to pay some bills. No, he loves it. Like, you don't go through that much pain if you don't like it, like what you're going through. Because let me quickly tell you a story here. We were demonetized on YouTube for 9 months. I told my team, I was like, hey, actually, as soon as we got demonetized, I hired another guy. That's like that's the opposite of what you do. You fire everybody.
It's the mindset of going through the storm. Yeah, and 100%. Talk about that.
Yeah, I hired another guy, which is right now as we speak. If you go through an X account, he's the one who controls the X account, Facebook, all the platforms. So we hired him. He comes in, and we just said, hey, we just want to go 100%. Like, we're not making any money, but guess what? I'm going to invest my personal money to your salary, to everybody's salary. We're just going to go hard. And we just went on, and we're posting 7 videos a day. Bear in mind, we are making zero amount. And we just kept on going because I loved this. I enjoyed doing this. This is the worst career path to go through. I could easily just go find another job. I'm sick right now. I don't know if you know, but I'm really sick. I'm coughing around. If I was working for somebody else, I could have applied for sick leave. I'll be laying in bed. I won't have to go. I'll be.
That's not you, easy. And that's why I like you. That's why I'm doing the show today. That's not you. You wanted to broadcast.
That's it. We'll live stream hard. And that's why I maybe still from Alex Jones, but that's why I see he loves the game, and that's why he's been standing for long. What do you think about that?
You and me are both just some of the many students that have learned from him over the years. That's the beautiful thing about his style and his broadcasting and that spirit is that it's free and available. He doesn't charge for it. All you have to do is watch and learn. So we both learn from the same man.
Yeah. Man, it's insane. But we want to translate out this story, like it's like another 2-hour broadcast here. But obviously, we're gonna have to translate to something else. But I really hope everything goes well. But I'm assuming once they take this 30,000 pounds weight off his back, he'll be able to fly high and high with Alex Jones Network. So it's gonna be really sick to see him on that.
That's what I see as well.
Yeah, I see that. I can tell that guy. He looks stressed. He looks angry, and maybe that's why he didn't handle the way the fallout with Owen. Maybe that's why he didn't handle it well, because
it's a very tough time, and
stress.
Going at a state of position where you're kind of trying to hold on to the crew that you have. Look, I'm not privy to Alex and Owen's individual private discussions. I don't know what went on there. So ultimately, I can't give a value judgment of one person good, one person bad. I know they saved a lot of lives during COVID with their coverage. I know that they really saved and protected a lot of the Jan 6 people and were the reason why a lot of those people ended up getting pardons from President Trump. They've done a lot of great work together, and I love both men. They're both phenomenal, fantastic. They're both incredibly talented. Owen is incredibly talented. So is my father, of course. But the thing you got to keep in mind is my dad is not the easiest person in the world to work for. And especially in a time of great stress like this, he really viewed, the personal argument or fight or whatever it was over the broadcast as a betrayal, right? And that's his view. It's not my view, but ultimately it's not my network. It's not my broadcast. So I could be wrong about that. How I see it is I want them to hug and make up one day, preferably soon.
So.
I want to see this argument. I want to see this bickering kind of fade out because it's beneath us at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
Yeah, man. He did his first live stream, which came out really well. So smashed it. Well done, Owen. I'm always rooting for you from the other side, Owen. I'm always rooting for you on this side. Keep on going. I like the selection of music of yesterday's live stream. So smashed it. Now let's switch into the next one. This to every single one of you who has walked this road with us. Not just the easy win, but the tough, heavy storm. I want to reach out my hand to you, sir, and say thank you so much. Thank you so much, missus, because you didn't just fund a platform. You didn't just support creator. You stood for something sacred, something real. The idea that truth should never be owned by the politicians, by the elites. So thank you so much. Because we're living in a world where headlines are shaped by propagandists. We're living in a world where narratives are created by a politician's agenda. So staying true and telling you the honest truth isn't just hard anymore. It's becoming radical. And we've never taken a penny from any corporation or political party because we understand that journalism should never be funded by the elites, should never be funded by politicians. Journalists should only be accountable to the people they serve, not the people that they meant to question. But staying independent comes with a lot of cost. It means no more access, no access to fancy meetings, no access to big donors. So we're choosing integrity, we're choosing morals, and we're choosing to put stories in front. And trust me, that's a cost I'm willing to take. That's why we need you, not just as donors, but as people, as defender of truth, as people that believe that truth isn't a luxury, it's a right. It's a right that every single person in the country deserves to get. And if you've been watching the mainstream media lately, I'm sure you've felt a quiet rage when you see a story being told in a different way, when you see the truth being twisted, when you see suffering being ignored, when you see the powerful few rewrite history and take over narrative and rewrite reality. And now this is the moment that stops. Every single contribution that you make to this channel is a refusal to be manipulated. It's a stand against distortion. And if you believe that journalism should be factual, if you believe that journalism should be unbiased, then this is your time for you to stand with us. Donate right now and build this movement with us. Be the reason why the truth survives in this country. Thank you so much.